Hi, my name is Albanese. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of APTV. Today we got Jason Chang from Calia. Jason runs a very successful luxury retail hospitality business here in the city of Melbourne and in Chatston. Jason also sits on the City of Melbourne Council, working with small business owners. We're going to talk to Jason about his experience of opening and expanding this business in the last 2 years especially, and the roles he plays in the city of Melbourne. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Calia has really come onto the Melbourne hospitality scene in a big way, but you decided to do that in around 2020.
Yeah.
Could you not have picked a better time? What made you want to do it in 2020?
Oh, good question. I think what came down to it was we knew that the pandemic would end. You would need restaurants around still, and unfortunately during the pandemic, so many businesses in the CBD especially closed. And I guess we just took a punt in the end and said to ourselves, okay, when it's over, someone's got to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
And we wanted to create something special that people remember. So during the pandemic, we also did what we could for the community. We gave out 100 free meals a day for 3 days to those who are financially disadvantaged. We gave out care packages to international students, to hospitality workers who were struggling. And I think, throughout the pandemic, that's what made us realize as a brand, we can come together to help others as well. So we said, okay, let's invest in this big store that's going to be open, in the middle of a pandemic, but do what we can during that time to get by, but also support our staff. We kept most of our staff on and, had them throughout the whole pandemic. I think we lost a very small amount of staff, but I think it was more about survival. It wasn't about creating profit or expanding a brand. It was about staying where we were, but creating a relationship with our customers who keep coming back to us, some who come daily, and knowing that we'll still be around for them during the tough times, but during the good times, when things are back to normal, we'll still be here as well.
Calia's come onto the scene in a big way. My understanding, luxury food, luxury restaurants, high quality products, all brought together in one place that's affordable and accessible. But if you can, in your own way, how would you describe the Calia brand to anyone who's never been here before?
So how we started Calia is that we were wholesaling in the past. We used to sell caviar, truffles over to Singapore and Asia. From Australia. And we're importing products from Asia to sell in Australia as well. And what we wanted to do was create a brand. Originally it was going to be just retail, no restaurant, where you could get these products at a very affordable and accessible price. People look at truffle and caviar and go, oh, it's so expensive. And we wanted to educate the consumers on how you can use it. Just use the good quality ingredients on basic things like rice, and it really brings out the flavor. So we started the restaurant up at Emporium level 3, and we didn't know that it'd get so busy. We were actually surprised, but we were very pleasantly surprised. After that, we thought, okay, what we're going to do now is that really showcase the ingredients from around the world on an affordable sort of setting. In shopping centers, generally people don't view good quality food in shopping centers. Asia, they do. So you have some of the best restaurants in the world at shopping centers in Asia. And we thought, how do we change that in Melbourne? And we went into Emporium, we opened Calia, and we wanted people to come in and go, okay, you can have the best Wagyu in the world on the best rice in the world. You can have a caviar from Europe, from Latvia, from Caspian Sea, with your beef, with your Wagyu, and uni from Tasmania. And I think that's how Calia wanted to present itself to our customers, where we go, look, come in, try some good food, but also go to our retail area and get some of the best food items from around the world. Like, you got the world's best whiskey here, Japanese, but also Australian whiskey. We curate what we sell in Calia, including the tea from the Himalayan mountains. We have Michelin star instant noodles, which is really amazing. I tried it and it's really good, but people don't sort of see this within the normal grocery stores or shopping centers. But we wanted a special place that people can come and really find things from around the world.
You run a luxury restaurant, grocery emporium inside the Emporium Shopping Center. It's probably new to market. It's incredible experience to come down here. But did you start your career in premium food and premium shopping centers like this? Like, where did you guys start from?
No, I didn't. So my family immigrated to Australia in the 1970s. So they had a store in the Queen Victoria Market,
right,
selling fruit and vegetables.
How big was that store?
Oh, it's tiny, probably like just 4 tables wide, selling $1 bag of vegetables. So wow. I used to go there at 3 a.m. in the morning, during school holidays with my father. And
how old were you when you started working in the market?
5 or 6.
Geez, you really grew up in this.
Yeah, I did. I grew up in the market, and very, very fond memories. I remember getting up early, jumping in the car, and just going to the market and just prepping the store. And I used to be very excited for school holidays to spend time with my father.
Your family immigrated from China to Australia? You said via Fiji?
Yep. My dad came from China originally, southern China in Canton. Fiji first, spent a few years there, grew up there for a bit, then came to Australia and started work here, grocery stores and the Queen Victoria Market. So that's how they started, and I think that legacy lives on with me, the grocery aspect, which is why we have Calia here as it is.
It's a great Australian success story, but yet you've managed to hold on to your culture and your ethnicity and bring that into the Australian food culture and take it on by storm. You have one of the biggest restaurants in the Melbourne CBD, and you do more than just a restaurant. You brought the experience alive, but it's fantastic that you've managed to maintain where you've come from and where you're going all into one space. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What would your advice be to any other immigrants coming to Australia now and wanting to have their own version of their story of getting out of Queen Vic Market and getting into these big, businesses and making a life for themselves here?
I think it's hard work for sure, and that's just putting in the hard work and the hard yards.
Okay.
Nothing comes quick, nothing comes easy, and we've, even at Calia to this day, we always trial new things. Some things don't work, some things do work, but you learn from failure. And something my mum taught me is that you don't know success until you're failed. And I 100% agree with that, because you treasure success a lot more when you failed before, knowing when you've lost things. And I think the most important thing for new immigrants when they come to Australia is just to give it a go. Like, you never know unless you try. A lot of people are a bit afraid, a bit scared, which I completely understand. But give it a go, and you don't know what will come from it. Now is a very different environment. Things have changed, and go out there, meet people, network, get out and socialize. That's very important. You don't know who you'll meet. Like you've held various events where people get the opportunity to meet others, meet people in the retail space, in the business space, landlords, agents, and I think that's very important. Networking is still crucial to this day. I think, to be honest, networking is more important than education at times, and I would say just go out there, meet people, and do your best to put yourself out there.
Yeah, so you hold a role in the City of Melbourne Council. What is it that you do there?
So I'm in charge of the small business portfolio at the City of Melbourne.
Yep. Right.
So a lot of work for us to do.
Yeah. And what's your vision for the City of Melbourne in your specific portfolio?
So I want Melbourne to be the small business and startup capital of Australia. Hopefully during my term, we're able to entice small businesses to start in Melbourne, but to cut the red tape, make it easier. We've got a small business concierge service now at the City of Melbourne where you can just call them up and go, how do I start a business in Melbourne? What do I need to go through? What hoops? And we're trying to cut that back, all that red tape, just to make it easier for people to open here. We have small business mentorship programs where people who have not been in business before get partnered with successful business owners, and they get educated and trained on how to do things. Hopefully during my term, I see more startups come to Melbourne, and we want to entice them. When the borders open, I want to go there and meet people and go, hey, come to Melbourne, invest in Melbourne. And I think that's what will create a very special ecosystem, for everyone. Everyone benefits in Melbourne from that. Not just business owners, but employees, houses, residents, everyone will benefit.
Well, as a small business owner myself, I do see the support from the City of Melbourne, and they really want you to see you succeed. And there's a lot of programs and initiatives and mentorships that really show you what other cities other cities are nowhere near that sort of care and trust that the City of Melbourne has built under your council, but with Sally as well, with Sally Cap.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's the most important thing is trust, and we try to be as accessible as we can be. We go out there, we meet business owners on a daily basis, we talk to people, we want to hear the concerns, and I understand their concerns, and I'm glad that I can bring a fresh face to council.
You relate to their concerns too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I go through it. I go through the issues they're going through. When a lockdown hits, it hits me as well as a business owner. And to be able to communicate that to other members of council and the council, gives me great joy as well, because everyone has a different perspective on things. And I think as a council, we are doing our best to support businesses in in Melbourne, really thrive and get out of the situation that we're in now.
Absolutely, it's clear. Your restaurants have a very strong sense of identity, ethnicity, and a point of difference to anything I've seen before. Yet you chose big shopping centers that are a bit contrived to create these individual businesses. How have you molded the two the Calia brand into a shopping center and maintain that sort of identity?
People, at the start would say to me, why would you open, a restaurant like Calia at a shopping center? People go to food courts and shopping centers. And I said, that's what makes us different. It's to open in a shopping center somewhere that people don't expect you to be. So to open a shopping center, we hired, some of the best designers. Architect Eats designed this, and it's a beautiful design. We wanted something special, so when you go into our stores, you go, wow, this looks different.
And where is it going from here? So now that you set it up and now it's running and the city's back and open and trading, are you satisfied with the model, or are you constantly changing and evolving it?
We're always evolving. So after, when things get back to normal, I look to consolidate the brands that I have here, Calia, Chaston and Emporium, and just create more events, make it more immersive, because I think, the space that I have here now, which is 850 square meters, it's still not...
How big is it?
850 square meters.
Wow.
It was a big, over 2 levels. It's a big store, and I want to utilize it more. In the past, I'd fly chefs in from overseas, Michelin star chefs, to have special events, and that's what I plan to do once the borders are back open.
So none of that can really be done on Zoom or online. So that takes me to my next question. There's a big argument, is it online or is it in store? How to get customers into the store? You clearly are banking that they're going to come into your 850 meter space and not shop online. How are you managing that, and is online actually working for you? Do you have an online store?
We do have an online store. During lockdown, it was working for us. It helped us pay the bills.
Yeah.
It's dropped since then, because I think after the lockdown, people wanted that human interaction.
This is an 850 square meter store that has a variety of different income streams, being the retail, being the food, the takeaway, etc. In your own business plan, how do you manage, let's say $1 million of turnover? How do you allocate that towards your expenses like staff and rent and so forth?
Yep. So approximately, in a case like us, especially located in luxury centers, we allocate about 10 to 15%, if not 20, to rent.
So 200 grand of that $1 million goes to rent?
Yep. And then about 35% goes to staff, and 30% goes to cost of goods, if not more. So you left very little margin, and I think people don't really understand that aspect of things. Small business owners are not, all multimillionaires swimming in cash. It's not like that. Small business is very tough work, and during the pandemic, you also, need to use your cash reserves to keep things going. So the margins are very slim for small business, but that's not to discourage small business owners. That's to say, it's also very rewarding.
So going into 2022 and beyond, where is retail trending and heading towards? Like, what's the next trend that you're planning your business towards?
The trends for retail is still very much in that affordable luxury area, where people still want good quality items, but for value. People obviously went through a hard time during the pandemic, but they're coming back out. They're trying, tasting new things, and I think a lot of people have become more experimental. They really want to see, hey, what's this? Because they know now that freedoms can't be taken for granted. You could be locked down tomorrow, or 6 p.m. tonight, you could be locked down. You don't have any idea.
Anyone out there now looking to start their own hospitality business or expand their hospitality business, what would their one piece of advice that you'd give for them?
Think twice.
That's not what we rehearsed.
I'd say research very carefully. What I found is that location is very important, and people always say, oh, it's not about the food, it's about the overall experience. There's many restaurants around the world that have the best food, but they still can't make it through. It's because, the X factor isn't there, the experience isn't there, or the location isn't there. So my suggestion would be to research very hard about your offering. Make sure it is unique. Make sure that it offers something that's different, that people want.